Life can feel like a battle you didn't sign up for. You push forward, swimming against the current, while others seem to be cruising by in a motorboat. It's exhausting. But here's the question. Is the struggle really the current, or is it the weight you're carrying? Imagine letting it go, not inch by inch, but in one extraordinary leap, a quantum leap that shifts your entire perspective. Too good to be true? Maybe. But aren't the best stories always a little hard to believe at first? Trust me, this isn't just philosophy. It's rooted in the way the universe itself works. Stay with me, because what we're about to explore might just transform how you see everything, starting with yourself. The question is, what's blocking it? What if clearing that block doesn't require years of effort, but instead, just one simple quantum shift that could change your entire life? Let's find out. Life has a natural flow, a rhythm that feels effortless when we're aligned with it. Think of those moments when everything just works. You're fully present, connected, and it feels as if the universe itself is harmonizing with you, playing your song. But here's the truth. That flow, as beautiful as it is, isn't always easy to hold on to. Life has a way of throwing in resistance. What starts as a peaceful river suddenly becomes a maze of rocks and rapids. Decisions feel heavy, emotions spiral, and clarity slip away like water through our fingers. It feels like life offers you a dance floor but keeps switching the choreography. You stumble, lose the rhythm, and can't help but wonder, is everyone else nailing this, or is it just me? And then you see them, the ones who seem to glide through life, effortlessly commanding the spotlight, just like Roger Federer in tennis, hitting every ball as if they were born for it. But what if the problem isn't that you've missed your mark? What if the choreography was always yours to create? Perhaps we've always been the stars of our own show, and it's time to realize that no limitless pill required to unlock the role that's always been ours. But if that's true, why doesn't it feel that way? Is it society's expectations pulling us in 1,000 directions? Is it the comparisons we make, or the pressure to keep up? Or is it something deeper? A distortion within us that's so subtle we barely notice it until everything starts to break. Let's take a closer look at what disrupts this flow. What creates the ripples in our rhythm, the undercurrents that pull us away from clarity? And more importantly, can we trace them back to their source before they grow into waves that consume our reality? Have you ever felt like you're trying your absolute best, but life keeps throwing curveballs? You're working for peace, happiness, clarity, and somehow you end up with frustration, jealousy, and endless why me moments. Imagine someone who seems to have it all together, a great career, a loving family, the works. And yet, over time, they start self-destructing. Maybe it's an addiction, drugs, alcohol, sex, toxic behavior, or just a loss of motivation. They know it's harmful, they know it's pulling them down, and yet they can't stop. But why? Carl Sagan said, "The cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. You are the universe experiencing itself." So, this distortion pulls us from the now, the present moment, away from the facts, leaving us chasing shadows of happiness and clutching at echoes of the past. Regrets of yesterday, fears of might happen tomorrow. What if the highest form of intelligence is the ability to observe without judging, comparing, evaluating? In this state of distortion, it feels like two voices are constantly auditioning for the lead role in our head. One is calm, wise, and endlessly patient, the version of you that meditates, makes gratitude lists, and reads self-improving books. The other? It's the disorder sprite, fueled by frustration, jealousy, and every bad decision you swore you wouldn't make again. Together, they create an inner sitcom where neither side agrees on the script. Feels overwhelming, doesn't it? And yet, this inner struggle doesn't just stay within us, it shapes the world outside us. The divisions between nations, beliefs, and ideologies mirror the battle in our hearts. War doesn't start with weapons, it starts with fear, with pride, with the need to belong to something, anything, even if it creates separation. And isn't that where the cycle starts? The seeds of conflict aren't planted in armies or borders, but in those quiet, vulnerable moments when we feel we're not enough. Think about it. How often does that feeling show up in our own lives? Maybe there was a time you longed for something, a skill, a lifestyle, or even a sense of peace. You saw someone who had it, and instead of feeling inspired, you felt small. Jealousy crept in like an uninvited guest at a party. That jealousy didn't just sit quietly in the corner either. It planted seeds, frustration, anger, self-doubt, and before you knew it, you were searching for an escape route. Maybe it was a drink, or it was Netflix, or it was diving into work so you wouldn't have to deal with it. But here's the thing, that escape doesn't really free you. It just pauses the conflict, like hitting snooze on an alarm. The conflict doesn't end, it stays, waiting for you to return. And that's the real problem, isn't it? The conflict does not lie in the jealousy, the frustration, or the doubt itself, but in our constant need to define ourselves against them. We create an image version of who we think we should be, and then fight endlessly against these negative emotions that don't match our projection of self. But trying to define yourself, or create a specific image of yourself, is like trying to bite your own tongue. The harder you try, the more painful it gets, leaving you exhausted and stuck without energy in an endless loop. So instead of chasing an image of myself, what if we let it go? What happens when we stop fighting ourselves? Imagine facing the so-called negative sides of who you are, not as enemies to control or escape, but as something to understand. Here's the truth. These deep negative emotions in you that frustrate you the most aren't working against you. They're mirrors, reflecting back the areas where you need to observe profoundly without comparisons and judgments. Let's take anger as an example. You feel it rising, hot and unstoppable, but then judgment and resistance step in. I shouldn't feel this way. I must not be angry. Now, instead of simply feeling that anger, you're getting angry about being angry, trying to figure out why am I getting angry again. It is a tug of war and the rope burns every time you pull. Attachment works the same way. Is it really part of love or is it born from fear? If I'm jealous, is that love or is it because I am clinging? I am afraid of losing what I think is mine. These emotions, when resisted, don't disappear. They grow stronger deep inside. But let's take a moment to question the battle itself. Opposites like good and bad, calm and chaos, do they exist outside our minds, or are they ideas we create to make sense of what we don't fully understand? Day and night exist in nature, yes, but psychologically, is anger truly the opposite of calm, or are they two sides of the same coin? Now, instead of fighting anger or trying to suppress it, we simply need to observe it, not as good or bad, but as it is, like listening to the wind, not trying to shape it, not analyzing its direction, just hearing it. In that stillness, something changes. The energy wasted on resistance becomes clarity. Anger, like any emotion, isn't a force to counter, it's a wave to understand. And when you truly observe it, without interference or judgment, it changes. It fades, like a wave returning to the ocean. So let me ask you, can you listen to your emotions as you would the wind, without resistance, without labels? It's not about creating opposites or solving problems, it's about moving beyond the battle entirely. And here's the beauty of it. This shift isn't slow. It's a leap, sudden and transformative, like flipping a switch. In the world of quantum, they call this a quantum leap. A particle doesn't slide from one state to another, it jumps instantly, without passing through the space in between. And what if our consciousness works the same way? In quantum physics, transformation isn't gradual. It's an immediate transformation, one state jumping to another without passing through the in-between. One moment you're here, and the next you're somewhere else, with no middle step to explain how you got there. It's a phenomenon so strange that it begins to blur the line between science and fiction. And this brings us to something even more fascinating. A brilliant scientist, David Bohm, has suggested that the universe itself might function as a hologram, a boundless, interconnected field where every part reflects the whole. In this quantum reality, particles defy logic. They exist in multiple states until observed. Schrödinger's cat, alive and dead. Electrons, everywhere and nowhere. Building on that idea, some researchers propose that consciousness, our thoughts, emotions, awareness, isn't just happening in the brain. It's part of that quantum field, connected to everything. When you stop resisting your emotions and simply observe them, you're not just understanding yourself, you're aligning with that universal flow. It's like your mind is the Wi-Fi router for the quantum network. And let's be honest, most of us are running on dial-up. But the moment you stop trying to control everything, you're in the fast lane. This concept reaches beyond physics and extends into how we live. If particles can leap from one state to another without traveling through the space between, then action too can emerge from the present moment in a way that transcends the past and future. When our actions are shaped by old habits or fueled by future ideals, they're not truly free. They're shadows of what was or what might be. True action, like a quantum leap, is immediate. It doesn't create something new. It reveals what was always possible. By stepping out of our cycles of fear, division, and resistance, we move into a space of pure clarity, where energy isn't wasted on conflict but flows naturally. This is the leap we're capable of, not a struggle to reach a distant goal, but a return to the rhythm that's been with us all along. When we stop labeling, stop fighting, and simply observe, we discover connection, not just with ourselves, but with the fabric of existence itself. So here's the big question. Are you ready to take your quantum leap, not into the unknown, but into the truth of who you've always been? What's holding you back? Is it fear, doubt, or just the Wi-Fi connection to your universal consciousness running a little slow? Whatever it is, remember this. It's already within you. The universe isn't asking you to build something new. It's just waiting for you to notice what's already there. Sometimes the greatest discoveries aren't out in the stars, but within the space of your own awareness. And if this exploration made you pause, reflect, or even laugh a little, why keep it to yourself? Hit that like button, share it with someone who might need their own quantum leap, and be sure to subscribe for more journeys into the inner universe. It's a simple step, but it makes all the difference for us. Oh, and before you go, consider explore the channel. It's like a treasure chest waiting to be unlocked. Who knows? The next video might just take your perspective to another level. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.